our next set of team awards is head coach men's soccer, Mike Carvalho.
So I have to put glasses on because I can't see anything. So the first thing I need to do is thank our administration and our leadership for being able to have this program here on campus, because I know how important it is to our student athletes to be able to represent Cal Maritime, especially on the soccer field. So thank you, Karen and team, for that. And of course for our athletic trainers, because we couldn't do this without you. You know, every time somebody gets hurt, it's nice knowing that there's somebody there to take care of them. And I think as athletes, they all appreciate you guys as well. So thank you very much to your team. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is our season highlights. First thing that was really cool about this year is that I was blessed to sign 12 players, and 11 showed up on day one. Now, it's a tremendous amount of talent, but I also knew coming in that I had 11 brand new freshmen. And those of you that are freshmen that have gone through an entire season, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when I talked about at the beginning of the year, you looked at me like I was crazy. It's like, there's no way, coach. There's no way. You guys know what I was talking about. And there were some really, really cool things that happened this year. First thing, our very first game, we got a 2-2 tie in Portland against Multnomah. You know, and they were furious because Cal Maritime came in there and walked away with the tie. They expected to destroy you guys, and that did not happen. You know, we got our first, as a team, as a coach, I got my first clean sheet against Providence Christian this year, and that was our first win as a team this year, which was very, very exciting. I think, looking back, I think we played our best game against Benedictine down in Arizona. That coach was furious too, because he expected to beat us 10-0, and we walked out of there losing 2-1. And if I remember correctly, Memo scored one of the most beautiful goals. That ball came off of his foot, and everybody that was there went, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful goal. The other thing I think that was great about this team is that we were in every single game. Every time you guys get on the field, everyone thought we could walk away with a victory, and I really appreciate that dedication and effort that you guys put into every game. I think we're a few people short of having a bench that can come in and help you guys. I think every first half, we were a dominating force, and I think every coach knew that. The other thing I think that was, as a coach to me, is every coach I spoke to at our home field and even on our away fields complimented you guys. You know, I had one coach tell me, you know, Cal Maritime was always a give me. This time I actually had to plan and train for you guys. And I know that doesn't mean anything to our newer players, but those of you that have been here a while know that that means something, right? And that's the way it's going to be going forward. Every game that we lose and every game that we win is because we have a team dedicated to do that, right? And I expect a lot more wins next year than we got this year. Right? I also remember the coaches' faces every time they attacked, and our defense destroyed their attackers. Right? I mean, our defense this year was second to none on the field against a lot of really, really good players. And you guys know, we had some really good talent this year. You know, I think back on some of the games that we had, and some of the highlights that I'll always remember, having Emery Riddle on our field and not hearing one word of English. Every player was speaking German, right? That's the kind of talent that we were seeing this year, right? I think the coolest thing for me was having 9 starting freshmen announced on the center of the field, right? And it was like a freshman from, a freshman from, a freshman from. That meant a lot, right? Because that shows the dedication that you guys have going out there, right? To make that starting line success that it was. As a team, we generated 118 shots, and of those 118 shots, 55 were on goal. I had a player this year score 4 goals. Right? That was really cool. And I had 5 different goal scorers. Right? And there were some of you guys I wished I would score, but didn't. I really wanted Dave to score. I tried. And I think the other thing that was really telling of this team, too, is we only had 1 senior. right? And I really, really appreciate the leadership that you brought to the team, Gabe, because I think you gave them a perspective that they needed to hear from someone that's been playing the entire 4 years that we're out there. So I appreciate that. I was also blessed this year to have 4 assistant coaches, right? One of them was helping me from afar, and that's PJ, but I also had a couple dads that step up and ask me to be part of our program, right? And Nuno, you've been a great help. And Nuno's been a great help. And you know, and of course I couldn't do this without Emily. You know, Emily's my number one assistant coach. Because I'm only here part-time, but she's the person that's here to do all that stuff when I'm not around, and I really appreciate that. And I think the one thing that I really appreciate most about this team this year is watching you guys, especially my younger players, coming in with the hopes and aspirations that you had, and watching the reality of the game set in, and watching you guys mature, right? Because I knew it was going to happen. And I started the year with 11 freshmen, and I ended up with 11 veterans. And next year, the sophomore players are going to be the foundation and the core of this team. And I'm telling you, the next time you see the teams that we saw, you know what to look for, right? And they're going to be in trouble, because guess what, guys? I'm going to bring in another bunch of guys to come support this team, right? And we're going to have a solid team next year, right? That's where we're going. All right, let's go to our awards, all right? And unfortunately, a couple of these award recipients are not here, but I want to go ahead and say it anyway, because it's important. The first one I have is my coach's award. So from day one, this player came fit and ready to play. And I knew at the very first practice that he really meant that he wanted to play at the top level of his game. And he showed that he could do it. He also expected everyone to play at the same level he was playing. And when people weren't, he was not afraid to tell you, you guys need to step up your game. He did everything I asked him to do on and off the field. And I'm talking about with his academics and with training and gameplay. And he was one of the most exciting players to watch on the field. He was one of my defensemen, and he would get into the attack. And although he didn't score, he took a lot of really, really nice shots, right, which made me really, really happy. The other thing, too, is he energized his teammates, right? When he was taken down, you guys would get up and support him and bring him right back up. And he got injured twice this year, and I thought both times he was injured that I had lost him for the year. Right, he sprained his ankle the very first time, and the next game he was there. And then one game he got taken out, and Christina took him off to the side, and I thought he was done for the year, and he was there back the second half. That's the kind of guy he was, right? He gave his opinion freely, and my coach's award, unfortunately he's not here, he has watched today, goes to Jose Diaz. My next award is the Leadership Award, and this player showed on and off the field the type of leader that he is, right? Not only in the classroom, he's one of my highest academic leaders, and he's also a phenomenal captain. He supported me as a captain and helped you guys with everything that you need. All our new freshmen, he took you guys under your wing, and he would help with any questions and everything that you guys needed to succeed this year. He was my team captain at every single game. In every game that he played, he gave 100% every single time. He had 109 saves with a .63 save percentage, and he was numbered 11 for saves in the nation. And I was pretty proud of him that he was actually recognized at that level. In my leadership award, unfortunately, he's not here. He had a family commitment, is Nathan Wick. So I'm going to break a rule. I never read anything, but I'm going to read this because I wrote it and I thought I did a pretty good job writing it, so I think it's important that I read it. Of course, I took his name out of it so that it wasn't recognized, but I'm sure you guys will recognize this. From day one, this player came to practice fully committed to be an impact player on the men's soccer team. He worked hard and pushed everyone to work just as hard. He immediately fit into a role as a defender. Opponent attackers quickly learned that the center of the field was off limits, and many opponents learned firsthand what it meant to be tackled by our combination of our defenders. This player played 1,530 minutes this season. That's every minute of every game. He's admired and respected by all his teammates. His passion and leadership on the field brought order to the defense, and he was appointed captain late in the season. He can run down the best players and quickly win the ball back. He can start play out of the back and can join the attack to generate scoring opportunities. In set pieces, he's a threat in the air. During video reviews and at halftime, he always shared his opinions and came up with suggestions to improve play. Early in the season, he got into yellow card trouble by racking up 4 yellow cards. He played with 4 yellow cards for almost half the season without ever losing his intensity on defense. Every coach I spoke with called out his number as a player he had to prepare for. Many coaches shared their opinion of how lucky I was to have such a talented player on my team. During end of the year CalPAC nominations, he was recognized by head coaches as a CalPAC honorable mention. And I'm going to stop here because it's important to know the talent that we had in the CalPAC this year was second to none. There were a lot of mentions of a lot of players, and I only had 2 nominations, right? And for him to be recognized was a really big deal. He showed everyone in the CalPAC what it means to be a keel hauler. Noah is my MVP. I've got 4 seniors that are getting lapel pins. David Drumpa, Dylan Mendoza, Charles Rohr, and